screen does, whether we get a big rush or not.
Yeah.
I put on my Facebook page say that according to weather.com for 80013, it said it was going to be raining from 6 in the morning when I looked at it until 10 o'clock tonight, and the rain accumulated to be half an inch.
Yeah.
Like, how's that going to happen?
All right. So committee reports, business liaison. So I'm going to give you the business liaison stuff. The business liaison committee is the one that turns around and tries to go out and seek stuff for the discount program and to get other businesses in there. We talked a little bit about what's happening with the Trails Recreation Center a little bit ago. That is a go, and that'll be in the newsletter and announced for that. Doug also owns a business, Deb's Gluten-Free Bakery, and that also recently came up on our discount program as well. Doug is offering a 10% on through his business as well. So if you eat gluten-free and you'd like to get a discount,
Or if you know somebody that does, because almost everybody does with somebody who does, so.
turn around and have them go to the discount page and you'll see Doug's company out there. It's out there.
Okay, because I sent the two things and I didn't hear back from anybody to look at it again.
It's done. It's on there.
Cool.
So, yep, and one for the trail should be up there later on this week or
By the first of June, right?
All right. So on to business.
Quick question on that. Online
Yes.
is the grocery list on there? Did you? I got you one of those, or did you not get that?
I didn't get it before that happened. We
Okay.
can talk with Jeremiah.
No problem. It's easy enough. Right. Okay.
All right. So on to unfinished business.
Okay.
Grant application status. So most of you received an email from me, and you should have received an email from me as far as the full grant application that we submitted. I'm going to talk a little bit about the grant application and the status. So we about 2 months ago, we turned around and submitted a grant to the city of Aurora. They were doing neighborhood education grants that they were awarding up to $5,000 per community, and no more than 2 awards within a ward, okay, of the city. So Mission Viejo was granted a $5,000 neighborhood beautification grant, and what our plan is that as long as they continue to offer them, we're going to continue to ask for them until we can get all the way around the community. When I started the application, I think you saw some of this language in the body of the stuff. So we only had $5,000 to work with, right? And so we had to take a look and say, all right, I need road closures. Is it city pricing, or is it are we going to get we have to pay commercial pricing? And so the difference is that commercial pricing is $2,000 and city pricing is about $450. That's a phenomenal difference, right? And so
Especially the little with 5,000 to start with, right?
Right. So that was important. Then with some of the other materials and stuff that we were looking at the pricing as far as getting roll-offs and bobcats and other kind of construction materials to be able to go out there and do that kind of stuff. Then when it got to laying the paper down or the barrier and putting in an edging in there, because the city kept on complaining that regardless of what we had there in other areas, what they were seeing was a lot of runoff going out onto the sidewalk, eventually out into the street. They said they wanted to try to mitigate as much as they could to keep the rock or mulch or wherever it was into that area. So then that had to be added. So originally when we talked about it, I think it was 2 months ago, we talked about it being mulch versus rock, because the city turned around and had this whole thing about, well, if the rock goes out into the street, that it's because we put it out there that we're liable for it. The city said, well, if you do it within the grant, it's city material and it's a city grant, and so you're doing the city's work. All you're doing is the volunteering of it. It's actually a city project, and therefore it belongs to the city. Therefore, you can do rock, and you're not liable for it. And I said, bingo, let's go for it.
Let's do it.
Right? Let's do it. Then came the next question was, what was the rate that we could get the rock for?
Right.
So the rock, when I looked at mulch, I could get mulch, at like I don't know, it's like $20 a ton, right?
I'll get it free,
You know,
yeah.
and I can get it for free.
Yeah.
But if we wanted to get color, if we wanted to do this, wanted to do that, I would, you know, it wouldn't be that expensive. Then I turned around and looked at the price for rock and how much rock would be required at different levels. And I think you saw this on the application where it said that if we used, I think it was like 3 to 5 inch rock or something like that, that we would, it would be something like 18 tons of rock at a commercial rate of $53 per ton. Well, when you start adding that out,
Right.
okay, now if I wanted to go to a larger rock, like what you see in some of the mediums, right?
Right.
That you actually require to have more rock because of the weight, right? Now instead of needing 19 tons, we were going to need 40 tons at $58 a ton.
No.
And I was like, I'm already over 10 grand just in rock,
Right.
right? I can't do this. So I kept on pressing the city and said, can we get the rate? Well, the applications are due on April 1st. They came back and they said, well, we're going to meet on April 1st to decide whether or not you can get a city rate or not. And I'm like, well, that doesn't give me time to turn around and make any changes to my application. So after they turned around and they decided that they were going to use city rates, and after last meeting, they came back to me and they said, okay, well, we decided that you can use city rates. Can you resubmit your application and reduce it because your application says you want more than $5,000? I says, if you read the application clearly, it says that we will modify our application in doing the work, either reducing the size and scope or using mixed materials or whatever we need to make sure that the total cost does not exceed $5,000.
Right.
Okay.
A smaller area. Or.
But what I need first and foremost is I need to know what the city rate is for getting rock. And the answer was that the city came back and said, even after this, said, well, we've been trying to find out what the city rate for rock is, but it depends whether or not I go to the forestry department or whether or not I go to Parks and Rec, or I go to this department, I go to this department, I go to this department. They all have a different rate for rock. So until I
cheapest.
So until I send it to contracting, I don't know what rate I'm going to get. That did not sit well with me, and I said, so you're asking me to put a fictitious number down to say it's at $23 or $50, you know, 50, whatever the rate you want me to put down. I don't have anything confirming that, so I'm not changing the application. We will modify what we're doing based upon what the rate is that we can get from.
Right.
And if you're telling me that it's going to cost $50, then we'll turn around and we'll get some more of the edging to get at the bottom, and we'll put an additional edge line in there, do some fun stuff with it, and we'll have rock to the bottom, and we'll have mulch to the top, or we'll have mulch to the bottom and rock to the top. I don't care, but we're not going to pass that $5,000. So that's kind of where we're at with that. It's been a very arduous process. The three people that are on the group, by the way, to plan this are Doug, Elaine, and myself. We're going to be getting together to decide on the 3 work days that we need to get it done. And the 3 work days, one is the prep, or the clearing of what's there.
Right.
Let me go back. One is clearing. So all
Are
the
you
stuff.
planning on clearing? I counted how many bushes there are from Holy Love down to that corner. There are 31 bushes, and most of them are.
They're all alive.
Hmm?
All of the ones that are left there are alive. They may be junk gathering, blah, blah, but they are alive. We can turn around and trim them down, but the city said do not take them out. I've asked the city about it. They said do not take the live ones out. And so they've come back and they've said, well, this was before the storm that hit last week. They were all budding, and ever since that storm, everything is gone off of them. So they may not be budding this year simply because they've got frostbitten, but we'll have to wait until next year to find out. As far as whether or not they're dead. If they're dead, then we turn around and we snip them all the way down and put a couple more pieces of rock on there and call it a day. That's,
Well, that makes it easier.
right?
Than
But we can-
pulling them
but we
all
can-
out.
But we can narrow it down because, if at the time that we're doing that stuff, because of the fact that, we've had that freeze, if there's no growth on it, it needs to be cut down anyway, all the way down to the bottom, so that it can be fresh growth, otherwise it won't come up. Okay? So we have a clearing day, and we have a prep day. The prep day, we need to put in the edging, we need to put the plastic down.
I think, well, I am
City
against
said they
putting the
want-
plastic down.
City said they want the plastic down there because otherwise, as soon as they put the rock down there, because there's so much space in between the rock that it still promotes weeds to come in there. And they want to have it so that the rock is a separator, or the weed barrier is a separator between the dirt and the rock.
There's old plastic in there
They said,
still.
well, I know, we want to pull that out, we want to level all that stuff out. That's why we need to put the plastic back down. So that's that first day of clearing. We're going to be turning around and pulling out all that old crap, whatever's left of the old stuff that's in there, kind of leveling things out. So when we do the prep and we do the fill is going to be, from what I'm gathering, based upon if we have everything right, we're going to be using the 3 to 5 inch rock, which is about 18 tons, and we're going to have 2 bobcats. They're going to drop half of the rock at one end down at Nassau, the other up this end. We're going to have the bobcats turning around and pushing it in for the most part. We're going to have part of the street blocked off, and then we're going to have people working to turn around and spread it and do all that other stuff. We may be able to take the prep and that on the same day if we start in the middle and work out. Does that make sense? Because
No. Yeah,
depending on how many volunteers we have.
Yeah, I think it would take 2 days to do the
If we have
rock.
enough, right, if we have enough volunteers, right, and I'm talking, when I say enough volunteers, and this is one of the things that I think we put out for the newsletter. For us to get this done, we need 3 work days with about, I would say, at least 40 to 50 volunteers out there with all hands on deck.
Have you
Okay.
ever seen 40 or 50 volunteers?
Well, the thing is
I
that,
mean, we used to have a lot, but we never approached 40 or 50.
and here's the thing, we're constantly pushing this in the newsletter is to say, look, we have only 8 people show up at spring cleanup. We only had this, we only had this. So if now people are going to read, oh, we need 45, well, they're going to turn around and they're going to go, oh, wait a second, they need 45, 50 people. They only had 8 show up. I was thinking about doing that, but it got a little colder, it got this, or it got that. If people know that there's a larger need, then we might get a better turnout. I'm hoping, Doug, that you'll be able to talk to some of your neighbors over on the other side, because this is the way that it's going to go, is that this year we're turning around and taking this section. Next year we plan on taking the next section. Next year we plan on taking the next section. We hope that people will continue to turn around and add into that, because, I don't live along that area, and neither do you guys, but, we slowly need to work on each area and get it all the way done. We're going to continue to fight for money until we get it all the way done. Everything has to be, the money has to be used by 1 October. That's the other. So
Charlie kind of has the thought that, rather than putting that edging, that metal edging, I mean, I just can't even imagine how long it would take to put metal edging from Holy Love top to that corner. But, he thinks that we should put rock, like larger rock, dig a little, trench or whatever.
I got to dig the trench. It's going to be just as easy to turn around and knock it down.
But I think that the rock would last longer than that metal edging, and I've seen metal edging. If you walk down Kalispell, go down to, from our house down to the corner, there's metal edging along mulch and stuff like that, and it's all spilled out on the. It's all spilled out.
If I utilize rock with nothing to block it from going out, what I'm going to get is I'm going to get kids stepping on the rock and having it tumble out onto the sidewalk, blocking either the sidewalk,
And purposely kicking
kicking it into the sidewalk or kicking it out into the street. And that's why we want to have that even the city agreed that that's the way that they want it. So,
Edging,
I think it's, but I can picture it, I don't think that matters, but
they said they want to have some retaining there, because what the city has been doing,
I
and
would
as
like
we,
to
as we
see a
get along,
sample of it somewhere.
it's just the metal edging that we can turn around and pick up.
But I mean, I'd like to see a sample of that the city has used it somewhere that it actually
They haven't.
works.
so they don't know.
Well, what
Yeah,
you're saying
I
is,
mean, we can't just,
Right.
we can't put all of that
Here's-
time into putting
here's-
edging along.
Yes,
I
yes,
mean,
we
it's a
can.
mile almost, I mean, it's,
no, not the area that we're doing, it's
Well-
about 1,100, it's about 1,100 feet long, but here's the problem, because of the slope,
I
and we
know.
cannot turn around and simply, I can tell you an example of where it doesn't work, and that's if you look along Hamden, to the west of here, okay, to the southwest, you will see where that slope is coming down, and they have rock there, and that rock is sliding right out into the sidewalk and going out into the street. And what winds up happening is
Where
that
are you talking about?
Hampton and,
Hamden, near Dawson, along that area there, there's that slope. They have a lot of rock that's there, and that's a very heavy slope. And then what winds
Oh.
up happening is that in that particular area, the city or a contractor is coming through there and taking a plow when it snows and stuff. And so what winds up happening is they're going through and they're picking it up, and they think they're just picking up snow, and they're getting rocks, and all of a sudden it's pinging cars.
right.
Okay? I don't want to go there. I really don't, so I understand where the city is saying, if we're going to have rock, they're saying that, that the HOA is not liable, but, the city is also saying that they're not liable because of if you saw recent reports about people with potholes and this, that, and the other thing, but if somebody goes out there, if a contractor goes out there and starts taking snow off and has one of those snow blowers and has that stuff pointed to the street, all bets are off. And I just want to make sure that we're doing our due diligence to try to keep that rock up as much as possible off of the sidewalk. Does that make sense?
I know what you're saying. I don't think, the other thing that I don't think that we could do that on one work day. I think you'd have to get a group of people that was committed to doing that and go ahead and do it ahead of time, not on the day that we're, doing.
Putting the rock.
I
And that's
mean,
why I'm
you
saying
could-
right now I have 3 work days scheduled.
Yeah, but in one work day, in a half a day, you could never, ever get all that done. I mean, you.
Depends on the manpower. And again, and if we're
Well,
able,
exactly. I mean, you were gonna, well, we can talk about that at the meeting.
right?
But,
We'll talk,
yeah.
we'll continue with. But the point of the matter is, and the reason I'm bringing it at the table here is to let people know that we need as many possible volunteers as possible to help us out with those 3 work days when they're scheduled. We'll arrange those, and we're going to put those out on our website prior to June 1st, so that if we have a work day coming up or whatever, that and if we need additional work days, that we'll turn around and try to schedule those as we go along. But we need to be complete by 1 October. All right. 4th of July picnic. 4th of July picnic. We do have the band scheduled. We're going to need, if we're getting closer, I will try to turn around and try to take care of going to the store and getting materials and everything else that they need at least a week prior. I'm not going to be in town on the 4th of July weekend. Troy is coordinating all the volunteers and putting up the stuff and everything else. He's supposed to be going here. So, I know I won't be in town, so, all I know is I've completed all the contracts, everything else necessary for the 4th of July picnic, everything else is in his hands. Who on the board would like to take point on the 4th of July picnic while I'm out of town?
As far as I know, I'll be here, but I'm not sure 100%.
I'm gonna be on 2 weeks prior to that, so I don't know how much planning needs to be done before.
A lot of it is grabbing materials and picking up materials, and putting it back.
I can take care of that.
Okay.
Unless something changes.
Okay, so Why don't I say this, Tom, you're the POC, and then the backup is going to be Doug. And then if something happens, if you can coordinate with Doug as far as so on and so forth. Music in the Park, slated for 15th of August. We still have not selected a musical group. Is there anybody that has a preference on musical genre?
No.
Not gonna happen.
Well, good. I said no rap, that's what I'm saying.
Classical, country, pop, rock,
You enjoyed? I made
blues,
so.
any,
Do you actually pay a group
yes, we do.
to come in?
Last year, we had a group that was,
Littleton,
yeah,
they were the,
it was their orchestra, and I think it was like a 15, 16 piece orchestra that came out.
12, 15 piece
Band group, right, along with principal singer and so on and so forth, and they did pretty much a blues,
and old rock, old classic stuff.
yeah, old classic and blues. And it was the first year that we actually had people dancing in the park, which was,
Is that weird?
yeah. So it is an event that has been growing bigger and bigger every year. A lot of people are enjoying it, so we want to turn around. By next meeting, I do need to solidify.
Suggestions and suggestions.
Yes, if you have a suggestion for a band or a particular style of genre of music, please email me prior and
What day is August 15th?
Saturday.
August 15th is a Saturday.
Didn't you say school started on the 13th?
Yeah, and I did check with the school, and the school said that they would, yeah, the school said that they would not be able to provide the Smoky Hill High School band jazz ensemble for that kind of thing. They just haven't practiced enough at that point in time. So,
Yeah, they're starting early this year.
I know, it's back in Thursday, I guess, but maybe it does it every year, but I don't know.
okay, so prior to the next meeting,
We need to make sure that that's.
which is on June 16th, so I need to know at least not later than the 11th of June. And for suggestions to me by 11th.
Is there a set amount that you pay?
That's why we have to have it before the next board meeting, so that the board can approve costs, et cetera. Depends on what it is and how much they're asking. So,
I know this group, there are 4 already, and it's, you know, banjos, guitars, and
okay.
I'll ask them.
Yeah, ask them if they can submit something to us. They can submit it to my email, president@HOA.org. I'm more than happy to take a look at it.
What time frame is the band going to be, like from when to when?
The band should, I believe, we've been doing 5:30 in the evening to 7:30 in the evening.
It's a 2-hour stretch, that's what I'm trying.
That's the music time.
Music time.
Right, that way, okay.
Yeah.
So the setup is whatever time before that they need.
I was not gonna be there from like 10:40 until 8
No.
o'clock at night. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Oh, whether
Okay.
you're like, no, I'm not doing it.
We do, need to reserve the park.
I checked with the city. They said because we're not going to be using the pavilions. We don't have to reserve. And I'm working with Bogrum or that because the city's current rate on their website says that if you want to reserve a pavilion, you're going to pay like $100. Not happening. We've been doing this way too long without having to pay anything for the city. So
My only thought to that would be, if reserving it would, because if we're just gonna bet there, basically hope it's empty so we can take up the stage.
4th of July, we've never paid for all of the
Stuff, okay.
So, if they want me to pay for it, the HOA is not paying for it. So we'll take it to the other end of the park,
There you go.
and not pay for it, or we'll take it to the park that's down here by the elementary school. I think we have there one. All right. So that's that on that. Dumpster day we have set for October 3rd. I have turned around and I've already talked with Crow about getting the 2 trucks for October 3rd. Plan is to start at 8 o'clock in the morning. I will need to have more discussion with you guys as far as the board. I know last year some of the, at least the ending discussion said that we had a bunch of people that turned around and paid with 2, 3, 4 loads. There were people that wanted to pay in the very early morning. And I know that we were running out of space really quickly, if you remember. And do we want to set any parameters around this year's dumpster day? Again, just a thought. I'd like to have more discussion about it next month and in the future months as to turn around and when we advertise it in August and September for October 3rd, that we turn around and we know exactly what the is going to be that says you can take 1 truckload. And that does not, when I say a truckload, that does not mean a semi-truck. We had one guy, it took us 45 minutes to offload his pickup truck. We had it strapped and packed from end to end and pretty high. You know, there's only a handful of us that go out there and do this kind of thing. We also want to make sure we know that Holy Love asks us whether or not we can open it up at some point to the people that come to the church here. We said we had some thoughts about it as to whether or not we turn around and we say, okay, we have it open from 8 to 12 for all of our folks, but would you consider opening it up after like 10 o'clock or after 10:30 until the trucks are full to non-mission vehicle residents? Because remember, we're paying about, I think we're paying about $600 per trash truck, and we can get quite a bit in those 2 trash trucks. Last year we took in from mission vehicle residents that were not active members that signed up on that day. We took in about it was $210. But if we turn around and allow X number of people to come in that were not mission residents, rather than allowing the space in the trucks to go empty, because we pay for it whether they're full or not. Do we want to open it up from, let's say, 10:30 until noon, if there's space available, and then be able to do that kind of thing and try to recoup some of that money so that the event is not eating up a whole lot of budget, but is actually breaking even or even making money.
So does that mean that you had 7 people pay $30 a piece?
Yep. Okay. Right. I mean, it's like $600 to $700 for, I think it's $600 for a trash truck.
Is it considered kosher or whatever word you want to use to say, okay, non-mission people have to pay like $40 to non-mission people?
Yeah.
I just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
It's like, we'll open it to you, but it's a little bit more, but you can still take your top down.
Right. And again, I want you guys to think about how that discussion is going to look, how we're going to plan on doing that kind of thing. It's not meant to be a money-making event, but literally for 1 trash truck, if I get 20 families to come in and pay $30,
right?
That pays for a trash truck.
Okay, let me throw a question out there about this, just because I haven't been doing this yet, but from what I'm hearing is, would they be willing to at maybe half the rate? I don't know, something. Because it sounds like you're running out of room. If you needed a 3rd truck, could you get one?
If I needed a 3rd truck, yeah, I could possibly get one. If we fill 1 truck first and then release it so it could go dump while the next one would be filled up and have to come back.
Okay, but you would have to like arrange that before you get it. That's what I was thinking. We have to arrange that before you get anything.
That depends how we run the thing.
That's what I'm getting.
Possibly I would have to.
Because it sounds like your 3rd truck might be beneficial. From what I'm being told. I haven't been to one yet.
I haven't run into the case yet where we run out of room. Last year we ran close, but we had, last year and the year before we had that big flood.
Yes, we did. Yes,
right?
we did.
And so between the 2, we ran very, very close. Had we not had the dumpsters from the city for like 2.5, 3 weeks before dumpster day 2 years ago, we would have opened up, filled 2 trash trucks and closed, because we say it's from 8 o'clock until we fill, or noon, whichever comes first. If we did not have those city dumpsters, we would have filled those 2 trash trucks in probably an hour's time, would you say? Because of the amount of stuff that we saw going into those dumpsters on a daily basis that the city provided.
So what kind of stuff? Furniture?
Furniture, pretty much anything except for
No electronics.
electronics.
Yeah.
That's what you can't put in there.
Appliances?
Say again?
Appliances?
Appliances,
As long as it's not doesn't have condensers, pre-on type stuff,
no
so
condensers,
no refrigerators, no freezers,
that kind of thing.
but anything else that can be crushed.
What's that? You got a refrigerator, I go pay $50 to take it out of your hand. So
Right.
you don't need to worry about that.
But that was pretty much what we did last year, and we were able to pretty much dump anything in there. They took mattresses, they did all sorts of stuff. And a lot of times, when you have a trash service, you want to turn around and get rid of those larger items. They charge you extra
Yes,
to have
they
those
do.
picked up, right? And so what the HOA is saying is, if you're part of an active member of the trash program, if you're an active member of the HOA, we're going to have one day where if you can get the stuff up here, we've had several people turn around and say, well, I can't get up there. Can you have the truck come to my house? There's only so much we can do.
Right.
We're going to be up at the same spot. We're going to be up here by the church. Talk to neighbors, talk to friends. If you can get the stuff up here, we'll take it.
The other thing is too, I'm hoping, especially with the whole trails deal, they will have a lot more members, and therefore you might have a lot more participation. So you might
Maybe.
need a third truck.
Yes, maybe, and again, as we get closer, I already have reserved 2. Usually I can go through like the week before, so I'll need to know prior to September 25th. I will need to know by September 25th whether or not I need a third truck. So we have time to plan for that, because our meeting is September 15th, so as long as we have something figured out by that date, then that's fine, but we need to make sure advertising wise, we need to get the word out well before that.
Right.
Right? So want to continue the discussion on that, wanted to just fill you in on that stuff. National Night Out is Tuesday, August 4th. We said we were going to participate in National Night Out. It is a Tuesday evening. It generally runs from about 6:30 till about 7:30, quarter to 8. It's generally in the parking lot by the playground area. That's the night where the police come out, the fire department comes out, and they do all sorts of other stuff out there. We provide, the HOA has been providing water and some last couple of years, as well as the misting tent to help, depending on how hot it is. So it's a plan on that as well. Next item on the agenda is the computer repairs. So you saw it in the financials. The computer repairs, we did go to Action Computers. Action Computers wound up giving us a great rate. We had a computer that, just so you guys know, that we had a computer where in the back, the connector where the power cord goes into the back to recharge the battery, that broke off inside the computer. We had turned around and made several inquiries about it, and we had found that for the most part, for you to replace that piece that goes into the back is literally an entire motherboard replacement, $300 more. I said, well, that's a lot of cost. If I'm going to spend that kind of money, I may as well just turn around and replace the entire computer. Doug was able to find and recommend to us Action Computers, which is off on Colorado Boulevard somewhere, and I turned around and contacted them, and they were able to tell me that they would be able to solder a new piece on, and that job would only cost us $160. And then because we were new customers and a couple other things, we were able to get that price down to $143.95, far better than spending $500, $600 on a computer.
Did they warranty it for
And they
years?
warranty it for, I think, 6 months on there. So thank you for providing that place to us. I know I will probably be going back to them for some other repairs.
Yeah, they also have, just even when you care, they have a whole, like, 4 shelves. They're only 15-inch monitor, but they're completely free. You just walk up there and say, I'm gonna take a monitor, they'll let you take it.
Yeah. So,
You can buy bigger ones, but if you want to, you just need something to get by. The 15-inch ones around the house.
yeah, they've got a lot of great stuff in there that is used, but very serviceable and very affordable. And they're called Action Computers. They're over on Colorado Boulevard.
Just south of Evans, I know that.
Yeah.
Just.
I really appreciated the fact that that is taking care of that's saving us a little bit, because we had not planned on that in our budget this year to go out to buy a new computer. So I would rather spend $143 rather than $600 on repairs. So thank you for that. So that is all the unfinished business. Now on to new business. We did add another item onto the discussion table. The first one that we're going to hit is the neighborhood garage sale. So we had totally, up to this point, our fault, totally forgotten all about the fact that we've had community garage sales in the month of June for I don't know how long. And we totally skipped planning for it, and we had not planned on anything. We've been working on a bunch of other stuff along with some of the planning for the grant, some other stuff. I've had a change in some stuff at work, which has caused me a little bit of adjustment to stuff I've got going on. And so just totally slipped past me. I apologize for that. I do believe that it really does bring the community together. We are committed to doing one if people want one. I've had people here at the meeting tonight that had questions about that earlier. And so we have been discussing whether or not, because we want to make sure that we advertise it not only in the newsletter as best we can, but also to make sure that we get advertising to the other locations that we need to our website and several other places that we have been traditionally doing those things. Making sure that we get them out on the different websites and so on and so forth for garage sales, etc. So what we were looking was to try to push that off to the Friday and Saturday of August 7th and 8th. Okay, that is the week before Music in the Park. We do not want to have the garage sale and Music in the Park on the same weekend, only because that really will stress us out, because I've got to do a lot of stuff prepping on Music in the Park, and there's no way I can do that. Pulling in signs from one event while we're working on other events, it doesn't work logistically.
Enjoy the Music in the Park.
And that allows us to really come and enjoy Music in the Park. So that was the initial discussion that we started before the meeting began. So I would like to make a motion to put the community garage sale on the calendar this year for August 7th through 8th. Okay, so I'm making the motion.
I'll second that.
Second is Tom. All right. Any further discussion?
I'm just asking for the dumpster day too, because it's like, you'll sell it to yard sale, bring it down and get rid of it, just saying.
All right.
At this point, we've got all the signage
Right.
for that, so.
You good with that? Huh?
Yep.
All right. Any other
I guess
discussion?
we officially need to vote on making that a firm date.
Yes.
Okay.
So call it to order. All those in favor? Aye.
3.
All right. The 3 of us. All right. There are no other city of
You
Aurora.
had a item B.
Oh, item B. Yes, thank you. Item B.
Yep, I wrote it down too.
Rocky Night. So I've been approached by a guy that works over at Coors Field, who has basically turned around and said they can offer us how we would like to put something together, a night out at Coors Field where we could turn around and we could get group specials. As you can see by the sheet that I printed out for you, Groups must have at least 25 tickets. We can return up to 25% of any purchased group tickets. And what I'm thinking about is this here is he said that he would turn around and he would block off if we said that we would like to do something, we would like to pick a date. And of course, there's, I think all the dates are available except for 1 or 2 of them that are blocked out. But he said if we would like to do it, he said he could block off a date for us where we could turn around and say we want to do something for the community, to where we can put it in the newsletter, have somebody manage it, collect the money for the tickets for the people that would like to go, and then we could turn around and say we have 50 tickets available for people within the community that would like to do it at this rate. Then we can do it that way. Some of the rates, I mean, there's value tickets as far as going, you know, the club goes at value from $56 all the way to rooftop at 14, or the rock pile at $4. Again, depending on what we want to do, whether or not it's something that we would be interested in taking a look at for this year, or taking a look at something that we may want to consider for next year. So it is open for discussion. I want to like to hear your thoughts.
I think you guys have way too much going on to even think about it, is what I think. I mean, it's really not, I mean, it's a nice thought, but
No.
the HOA is not a social organization in particular.
Could be,
you know.
can be.
Well,
Can be, and the other thing is trying to bring people together, whether or not it's for a social event other than the 4th of July picnic, music in the park, kind of events. Thing is that the more you grow community, the more you'll wind up getting people to volunteer for stuff, and that's what the hope is. That, you know, we slowly build that relationship and that rapport with the community.
I know all of that, but it's, you know, it just sounds like so many things.
It does.
It does. It's just, you know.
We keep on adding things on our plate every year, and thing is, we want to try to grow and thrive and try to meet the community's needs. So the question is that, you know, again, this was asked of me. I turned around and I said I would bring it to the board meeting, and then we could, you know, is this something that you guys think is something that is doable, not doable?
Can we do a survey?
That's exactly where I was gonna go.
So we kind of get an idea, we've got some time.
I'll go on to the next door like tonight even,
September.
and just throw it out there, saying Michigan residents, we don't even have a date yet, but if there was a rugby thing, might you wanna go?
Right.
And just see, if I get 4 responses, it tells you something. If I get 48 responses, it tells you something else. You know, just at least, like you said, get a preliminary thing going. I had, you know, because you know, if other people come back, want to do it, maybe 15 of them. You know, like those too.
We've got time, you know, even if we did want to try to put something together, that we could get, you know, we've got carried to September as games, so.
Yep.
If we did a survey that was closed-ended, you know, open it up and say, okay, we need to have just, you know, let's see what our interest is, close it by the.
Like I said, I'll put on next door tonight, and I'll just throw the question out there and see how many replies I get.
Right.
You know.
Right, and let's just see, you know, we know by the first weekend in June or something like that, and then
All right. So
when I'm back.
all right. So what I'll do is I'll also ask Todd if we can put an online survey onto our website and have it and tell people that it will be open until 9 June.
9 June? Yeah,
Right now, the way.
that gives us
they're
time to
playing,
plan.
No.
They will know.
Well, no, we're probably getting your final tickets.
They have a tendency to play good at the beginning of the season and very end of the season. So, all right. Again, you know, I wanted to turn around and have a discussion. We can continue that discussion next month. Once we have.
We'll have some survey results, we'll see what.
Yeah, we will.
All right. There are no City of Aurora project planning reviews. With that said, our next general meeting will be held on June 16th. Right here at 6:45 will be the start time for the general meeting. with an open forum starting at 6:30. All right. With that said, I'm going to call the meeting, or I'm going to make a motion to adjourn the meeting. It is now 7:55.
Yep.
I'll second that.
The brunch there was August 8th, right?
August 7th and 8th.
7th.
Easy. Turn that on.
Got it.
We're going to take a few minutes before we start our executive session to make sure that these folks can get out. I'm going to take a quick break. Outside.